I've got Sam McKenzie in with me this morning from Science to Health. Sam's been on the BBC, he's been on Channel 4 in Sky Sports, he works with a lot of fighters, people top of the game. I'm excited about this, getting my bloods on check, getting my nutrition on check, getting my exercise on check. So Sam is going to have a look at me on I don't know, I'm just banging on about stuff. I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's get Sam to tell you what he's going to be doing with me. Come and sit down, Sam. Ladies and gentlemen, Sam McKenzie, Science to Health. Sam, what are we doing today, mate?
Right, so we're going to do the most comprehensive health check that we do for you today. So in order, we're going to do your bloods first.
Yeah.
Checks 150 markers.
Yeah.
All your male hormones, heart health, organ function, nutrient markers, the lot. Then what we're going to do...
You still going down?
Yeah. Are you sending me downstairs?
Yeah. This is a control. Right, so why are we doing this?
To find out kind of more about your body on a level that people don't normally know it.
Right.
And the benefits that you can get from understanding that in terms of looking at your body from under the hood, so to speak.
Right.
Rather than what people are telling you on Instagram in these reels that are all over the world at the minute. And it's actually informed by evidence-based science, not myth, not gossip or rumours. We'll then do body composition scan on the in-body. So we can look at not only what your weight is, but beyond the weight to see what you're made up of. So body fat, muscle, water, glycogen, visceral fat around your organs that you can't see. And then, after that, metabolism test. So you'll be sat relaxing 10 minutes, breathing into a tube. And that's measuring the gases that you're breathing off, because they're byproducts of your metabolism. So then we can find out exactly how many calories you're burning and how many you need. And
wow.
You don't know that unless you measure it.
Right, okay.
So I'm often using this phrase to death of test, don't guess.
Right, okay.
But it's important because anytime you see on a leaflet, on a brochure, that you need X amount of calories on average for a male, they're averages. So in the research, they're just giving averages for someone at your height and weight. What you might be, you could be at that average, but you could be well above it, you could be below it. So if you're ever going to make a nutrition strategy that's personalised to you, you need that kind of data, and you need it to be spot on, that's measured to you personally. Otherwise, you might think you're in a 500 calorie deficit because you've done a calculation online, but you're in way more than that. A bit like what Andrew Clemp said on your podcast.
Yeah.
So when we measure it to you, we can be a lot more precise for the goals that you want to be. So once we've got all that data together then, and we have an in-depth chat about it all, whatever goals you bring to the table from that point, we can be a lot more precise about how we go towards them because of the data that we've got about you.
Okay, that's next level, mate. Exciting, so let's do it.
And that's purposeful, isn't it?
Yeah, it's purposeful. Okay. I want a proper conversation.
As if
things just come up naturally. Next level, mate. Next level.
Imagine if we had you on in that chair.
Feel a bit queasy.
We want you inside the silver bits, Tim, and not touching any of the black at the front and back. So your right foot's perfect. Just bring that left heel to the left a smidge, just a smidge. Perfect, that's spot on. Right, now with the handles, Tim, they pull towards you.
Yeah.
So these here, they pull towards you. Thumbs on top on them metal bits.
How much is this?
12 grand, this machine.
Fucking hell. Oh, it's got music as well.
So this is just sending electrical impulses through your body, which you won't feel.
Yeah.
And those signals travel through your body at different speeds depending on what tissue it's going through. So it'll travel through muscle at a different speed than fat. This is about 95% accuracy. Hold on, mate, you can step off. Looks like a load of gobbledygook to begin with, but it'll make sense in a minute. So I'm checking that you are either between or above that range, 40 to 49, and you're at 58.9. So you've got 58.9 litres of water in your body.
Yeah.
So this is an accurate scan. So we're very happy. This bit here is your muscle fat analysis. So you get a bar graph that's looking at weight, skeletal muscle mass, and body fat. And the graph always makes a shape. So you get a C, an I, or a D. If you've a lot of body composition work to do, it's a C. If it's moderate body composition, it's an I. If it's really good, i.e. you've got a lot of muscle mass relative to your fat percentage, it's a D shape. So if I was to join them with a pen and get a D there. So your weight is 98.2 kilos. 46.8 kilos of you is muscle. So on average, for a man of your height and age, would you be smack bang in the middle of normal there, and look how far above it you are.
Right, okay.
So that's how much extra muscle you've got.
Right.
And then the body fat is actually smack bang in the middle of normal for your height and age, 17.6 kilos.
Wow.
So as a percentage, you're 18% body fat.
And what is that good, mate? What you're looking at?
Yeah, so at the minute there, we're looking at averages for your height and age.
Yeah.
18% in any kind of general kind of health and well-being consideration is spot on.
Right, okay.
Really good.
Right. The visceral is what's around your organs, around your heart.
Yes, heart,
okay.
Pancreas, liver,
Yeah.
And they having more fat there, visceral fat, is going to affect not only the function of them organs because it causes stress to them, which will result in inflammation. It increases the risk of diseases as well, heart attack, stroke, cancers, diabetes, because the hormones that those organs will produce will be at a different level. They'll be under stress, they'll be inflamed, and then the lower that we get this, the better. Because fat shifts centrally as you age, you're always going to have some visceral fat. So the goal isn't to get it to 0, but the goal is to keep it within a range of 1 to 9. Yours is currently at 8.
So I can definitely get that down.
We're at the upper end of that normal range. So you're still in the green, but you are at the upper end of it.
Okay.
You want that to be below between 60 and 80.
Right, okay.
So they were elevated. We had a 150 over 94 before, but then I did 3 readings, and then we're in range now.
Right, okay.
So that'd suggest it was just this environment rather than where you're sitting most of the time. Anything else in immediate family like cancers, strokes, heart attacks, Crohn's, colitis, arthritis?
No, nothing.
Pretty clear. Okay, cool. Right, Tim, hold on. Good saliva build up there, mate.
Beautiful standard.
24 hours and just sit there like that, you're burning 2,298 calories before you've even stepped, before you've even gone to work. But you're well above the top end of that prediction of where we'd expect you to be for your height and age. But this is why a lot of people don't need to necessarily go on these insanely restrictive diets when they're trying to get some, let's for example say someone's goal is weight loss, that they're mentioning that it's so hard to eat at 1,000 calories, and really you've gone right within your own body's just basic metabolic needs for survival. If you think you do that, then let's say you do a day of 8,000 steps, so your weight maintenance is then going to be about 3,000 calories before you've even trained. Because you've now gone RMR, added your steps on, we call that NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis.
So next step for us now is we'll get all this data together,
get all the
come
results
back together, and then we'll do another video and show people what's happening.
Yeah, and that's where it all comes together then. So you actually find out more about how your body is responding to what you're currently doing and how you're living. And then we put some key goals together that are very measurable and very practical. Otherwise, none of this is, it's all well and good getting all the data. You can't put it to practice. What use is it?
You've got to make it part of your lifestyle.
Exactly, and that's where the key bit is in that second session.
As you can see behind me, we're back without Sam. Results are back. What's it been? It's been 2 days when I got the results back. 2 days, 3 days, 2 days, 3 days, we're back. That's how quick you can do it if you want yours done. Let's go and get the results.
What have you made of it so far?
It's testosterone being high.
Right, okay.
So obviously I told you last time on TRT, I've sort of like self-administer, try to sort of dial it in. That's one of the big reasons I wanted you to do it. So you look at that for me, and from that, even though I'm on TRT, that's quite high. What you've seen. I'm all right. Listen, you just give it me straight.
Yeah, of course. So it's a good thing to do to be responsible and check your bloods if you are taking TRT. And there can be many reasons why people take TRT. But the key things that we look for when someone is taking it is your red blood cells, because as well as we can get some beneficial side effects from taking TRT, there are some risks as well, and I don't think the risks are well highlighted enough. Generally, if I'm honest. So the key thing why looking at bloods is useful is we look that your blood's not getting too thick. So it should be more of a watery substance, but sometimes if people are taking, let's say, the wrong dose of testosterone, or their individual response to it isn't as we'd want, it can go more viscous like honey, which puts more stress on the heart.
Okay.
So we're looking at blood clotting risks, we're checking that your blood's not getting too thick, check your liver profile. We also want to check your prostate profile, because there is increased risks of prostate cancer, especially in men over 45 who take testosterone. So it's really important that we look at those things as well.
Right, so.
And also for the general reason why we've done this blood test as a general health check, so we can check that as well. So have you had any insights so far with what you've looked at? Any concerns?
No concerns.
Okay.
But I don't know what I'm looking for, mate.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what I'm looking for, do they?
Well, I always like to ask this question just from the sense that people will get their own interpretation of seeing that. You get a colour-coded form, and it obviously will get an idea of what the ranges are and what things mean.
I looked at my thing, I was like, fucking hell, my testosterone's high, but then I'm thinking, right, well, I'm taking testosterone, where should it be, is my other question. I started off doing TRT, mate, with a clinic, and then it would just get to a point where I'm like, it's getting really expensive, this, and I feel like I could do it myself.
Okay. What was the original reason they put you on?
I went to the doctors, to the GP, right, and he diagnosed me with depression.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm not depressed, mate, and I'd had this massive thing with the GP where I was like, I basically stormed out, my energy level, mate, I was so tired around 2-3 o'clock, it kept going on, and I just thought, fucking hell. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to take it into my own hands here. So I found a clinic in Watts, it had some blood tests done, and it was right at the fucking bottom. The guys, I got underactive thyroid, I'm taking thyroxine, age, he said all those factors could, so we started off on a lowish dose, and I'm feeling miles better, nails, hair, feeling great, and then at some point when I stopped that clinic, because I found it cheaper somewhere else, I'm just going to be honest with the fucking video for other people, I started self-administering, but I was just taking the full fucking thing. Because I thought maybe I'll get bigger or I'll get fucking...
Okay, so what dose are you on currently?
At the minute, I'm on 1 milligram of cyprinate every day. I wasn't doing that before. I was doing, like I said, one, I don't even know what I'm fucking talking about, but I've got an insulin needle and it's 0.1, the bottom one, 0.5, 1. So I take that every single day, and I feel like I feel better from doing that instead of doing it once a week what I'm doing.
Yeah. And also, to highlight the point, you had a medical need for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't doing it just for what's it. I'm honestly, mate, in meetings, I'm like falling asleep and I'm like, fucking hell, fire.
And it is more common than you think, and it affects people's life quality massively when it is genuinely low. Yeah, and at that level, I was getting snappy, mate, I was getting angry, I'm just like, it's because I'm just like, fucking hell, I need to do something here. And then when I got the results back, I don't think I've dialed it in. I think I've gone for this, and then I've gone right over, and it's only recent that I've been doing every single day. Yeah.
Usually, I think, after these blood test results, it's only when I just started it recent, so I'm hoping to see. I think I'm going to need to do another test.
Okay.
I don't know, Sam.
So
talking shit.
Let's go through your results. So this is a little summary of your health status. 75% in the green range. 5% amber in between, and red 20% out of range. So in terms of what things are flagged up on this health check, so we check your blood pressure. It was what we call high normal. So just above where we'd like it to be. Now, at the time when I took all these tests, I couldn't see your blood results obviously because we'd only just took the blood, but I did do the other tests in terms of your body composition, your blood pressure. And we know that there's some movement to be had on body composition and diet as well, from what we discussed. Now, that's what I think are the main things that are influencing that result, and we can bring that back down into normal. Now, even though people might look at this and think, oh, it's not that much of a big jump from high normal back into normal or optimal, it's huge in terms of even small reductions in blood pressure make a massive difference in terms of a risk to heart attack, stroke, things like that. So we had you at 140/80. The textbook is usually one kind of 120/80. What you had there though was an average reading of 140/80. We did 3 readings and some of them were higher. So there is just a slight tweak needed on that. It's borderline. It's not terrible, but it's borderline. Yeah. Your BMI measurement, I don't, on an individual level, it's a good research tool, but we have better tools to use. We used your body fat percentage because we actually scanned your body composition. We do want to bring weight down. We do want to bring body fat down, but we have better data for that. One of the other things on your iron levels here is that your transferrin saturation is low. What that means is, if you imagine the total iron binding capacity, so what sites are available to take up iron, they are low. So are you noticing at the minute any fatigue, tiredness, energy levels a bit fluctuating? Right, okay. So
it's usually later on in the day.
You're not anemic, because your red blood cells were fine, but your iron is low.
Right.
And we need to get that up so we can get those numbers higher.
Right, okay.
So there's kind of 2 ways that we can go about that. Is making sure that we get more iron in your diet, but also we need to double check, and this would be a case of seeing your GP to make, or if you've noticed that you're not getting any blood loss from anywhere that you've noticed. Okay. The usual case is that it's just not enough iron coming in. Okay. So we'll try to address that.
Is there supplementation for that, or is it literally diet?
Iron is very difficult in terms of diet because it doesn't absorb brilliantly well, and the body tries to tightly regulate it. So when they're at these levels that we're seeing, we would need to supplement initially, but then I'll give you some guidance on your diet so that then it can be maintained. And you'll feel a lot better for that.
Right, sound.
Cholesterol. So one question I've got for you, because these cholesterol results do need improving, but taking testosterone can affect them. So what I wanted to ask you is, in the past, have you had any cholesterol testing done before you took testosterone? Okay, so is this the first time?
Before I took testosterone. Yeah, I think the first time we ever got... I can't remember, I'm going to be honest.
Okay.
The first time we got it done before I went on CRT, I can't remember what my cholesterol levels were.
Okay.
I don't know.
So where these are at now, we have total cholesterol, which is the total amount in your blood, is currently at 6.05. As you can see on that scale there, we normally like that to be below 5.
Yeah.
The whole reason that we look at cholesterol is because it's very closely related to your risk of heart attack, stroke, cardiovascular events. But it's not just the total that we're bothered about, it's the breakdown, what that cholesterol is made up of. So we have what's called LDL cholesterol, which is more generally known as bad cholesterol, as it's known in the public, or the HDL, which is known as the good. Now, in terms of what they actually do, the LDL is what we call forward transport. What that basically means is the LDL goes away from the heart, and it attaches to your artery wall, and then eventually over time damages it, which creates inflammation, and that can eventually block the artery or the blood vessel, which can cause a heart attack. So we want that to be below 3, because then it's at a controlled level where risk is managed. The good cholesterol, the HDL, we call that forward transport. It brings all the cholesterol back towards the heart, recycles it, and keeps a nice healthy system going in terms of your plumbing, so to speak. Now what we've got there is the total level of cholesterol is too high, and you've got a lot more of the bad stuff than you've got the good stuff. Now, the reason that I was asking you, did we have a reading prior to taking testosterone, is because we know that it can influence cholesterol. And I would have liked to have known, well, what's actually having the impact here? Is it your diet? Is it maybe genetics?
I'll be honest with you, it's going to be my diet. My diet is crap.
Okay.
It is crap.
Okay. And that, I don't always get as great feedback as that. You've made my job very easy there.
Yeah. I know it is.
Yeah.
So I know it is.
So one thing I would say is, with that good cholesterol being low, some of the key culprits for getting that higher so that we get a healthy level of good cholesterol are things like oily fish.
Okay.
Are they coming in the diet regularly?
That's a no.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Nuts, seeds, avocados?
No.
Right, okay.
No.
So we
You
know...
got quite a few nuts, don't you?
Not really.
Pistachios, no?
every now and then, not on a regular basis.
But you know you've got a big room for improvement on the diet.
Massive,
okay.
Massive.
And then the
I just didn't know that that's what cholesterol was about. LDL, HDL. Did you know that? It's interesting to just change it.
Just needs explaining, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The LDL, so the bad one, so to speak, that goes and clogs the arteries. That one is mainly associated with saturated fat that you
eat loads of that.
Okay. So the key thing that I would do here is two things: reduce saturated fat so we can bring that LDL down.
Yeah.
And then really tidy the diet up on getting your omega-3. So obviously if you're getting oily fish, nut seeds, avocados, grains, get them up, and we should actually see a switch in that.
Right, can I just confirm when you're saying oily fish, you're not talking about going chippy and buying a fish from the chippy?
No.
Okay.
No. So we're talking things like salmon, mackerel, sardines, pilchards.
Yeah, that's none of that.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Now, some people hate that stuff.
Yeah.
And if that is the case, all is not lost. We can still make some massive differences. Right. The other foods that I said, nuts, seeds, grains, avocados, we increase them. Okay. Also, we can supplement omega-3. So if people don't like eating fish, we can still get them levels up from a supplement.
That's
now, it takes about 3 months for that to improve.
So I'm on it, mate. I'm on it. Some switch me head.
Some people can really kind of rush to get tested again in 2 weeks, and it's just not worth it. It takes at least 3 months for that to change and make a big difference. So what we'll do is we'll retest you in 3 to 6 months' time and see where these have gone.
What do you mean by? So, for example, if I did it for a month, if I was Tim now and I did it for a month, would it be exactly the same, or are you just saying there's not a big enough difference for us to really notice on there? Like, what I'm saying is 3 months enough time to make all the bad good, or is it? I don't know how I'm wording it, you know.
Yeah, so he's saying within 2 weeks, if you went really healthy for 2 weeks, you still won't see much improvement on the 2 weeks, but over a 3 month period, that's when you'd see a significant improvement.
Is 3 months the sweet spot where you can make anything bad on here good, essentially?
It's a great opportunity to see a significant change. It's not enough of a window to have achieved your peak at what you could do, but it's enough of a time to see change. And also give the clients a perspective of, well, how long is this going to take for me to see a result on my return on interest, so to speak. You know, when they're making the efforts to change it, that's the minimum amount of time we need.
Is that a nice way of phrasing it then, Sam, in people's heads, of like return on investment? Because you're investing on yourself, and what is my return on investment?
Yeah, because people get told advice all the time, do this, change that, it's worth having a punt on this, it's worth having to do that, but for what? What am I going to get back for it? What benefits am I going to get? What reduction in risk am I going to get? And obviously this is huge, because this is massively related to stroke, heart attack risk, and by making a difference to that, we make a huge difference to your health. So the return on interest speaks for itself, and the actual changes that you need to make to do it. I think the key bit is education. Because there's just so much confusing information.
Yeah, it's so confusing.
Yeah, and then once someone explains that and you know what to do, and it's not really going to add more time to your day, because you have to eat anyway. It's just a change in decision to choose something else that you know is in line with your goal. And looking at the breakdown further, we actually look at the particles. So this is at the microscopic level of your cholesterol, and this is where we can look at very small changes. The ApoB ratio is currently at moderate risk. Now, ApoB is a part of a cholesterol particle, and that's the one that is notoriously known for damaging the artery wall. Yours are currently at moderate, and we need to change that, because that is what is keeping the LDL high, and we want to change that and bring that down. So we've got your current cardiovascular risk score at moderate risk. So if we can improve that blood pressure, get that cholesterol in check, that will come back in range.
What is the creatine kinetics? Is that something to do with if I'm injured, or did you?
Yeah, so I've trained with you before, Tim, at Farmer Strong, so I know that you can train, and I know you've also got, and from your body composition scan, you've got a very good amount of muscle. That is not actually anything to worry about. It's very common in people with higher amounts of muscle, which you have. It's just a marker of muscle turnover, like production and removal of those cells. Nothing to worry about there. The only other thing on there is you've got high sensitivity C-reactive protein. That is a fancy word for basically microscopic levels of inflammation. They're slightly elevated, which you would expect with that heart profile. So
that heart profile, fucking hell. It's a mad way of putting it.
So 3 months, we can make a huge difference to that.
Right, sound.
On to diabetes and metabolism markers. So first of all, there's a few things we've already been through on here, and you will see some bloods repeated because they fall into multiple categories. So I'll skip past them. But a couple of the key things on here is if you were just looking at live blood sugar alone, you can see there that your blood sugar's low, 3.7. So you'd think, oh, I'm not diabetic, not a problem, move on. Now, that's just a marker of your blood sugar at that time. I asked you to fast for the test, so I would expect that to be where it is. But if we actually look at your average blood sugar over the last, let me just pull the marker up, should be on here, because I just saw it before. You might have to cut this bit out because it's missing off his thing. But can I just talk through it? Because I remember what it was. So we looked at your blood sugar live at that time, 3.7, but we also check another marker which looks at your average blood sugar over the last 3 months. And a lot of people go, how the hell do you do that? So the red blood cell has a lifespan of 3 months. And throughout its lifespan, sugar attaches to it. And then the body has a job of regulating how much sugar is in your body. Now we can see that your average blood sugar over 3 months is at 40. Now that means that pre-diabetes is 42. We normally like people to be around that low 30 mark. So what that means is you're not diabetic, but your blood sugar regulation is struggling a little bit. So this is another marker that we need to improve diet and get body composition in check. Because when people go into diagnosis of diabetes, you then have a compounding risk of heart risk. So it's usually 6 times higher risk of developing a cardiovascular disease event if you have diabetes as well, type 2 diabetes. So we get them in check and we're making massive differences here. The insulin level there, I would expect that to be low again because you haven't eaten, so there's no concerns with any of the others. So you already told me that you had underactive thyroid, but did they ever tell you what type of thyroid issue you had?
I don't know. I think it was hypo. I don't know.
Yeah. So you're taking medication for it. We'll go through its function in a minute of where you're at, but I can tell you that the type of thyroid issue that you've got is an autoimmune one. It's where your own body destroys your thyroid gland. There's other forms of it as well. So you've got something called Hashimoto's thyroiditis, because I can pick up in your blood there that you've got antibodies. And they're the reason that your thyroid stopped working, because they go and attack your thyroid gland in your neck. Similar to autoimmune conditions like type 1 diabetes, the body recognises these organs as foreign. It's like a genetic mistake, and then goes and attacks them and destroys them. So that's what.
No one's ever told me that about Hashimoto's.
Yeah.
No one's ever told me that.
And that's because we test the antibodies that are in your blood.
Right.
And that tells us that your immune system was attacking your thyroid gland, and that's what caused it.
Right.
And sometimes you don't always find out what type of thyroid issue that you've got. One of your liver markers, 2 of them are slightly elevated. Now there'll be two potential causes for this, and I'm not in a place where I can diagnose because I'm not a GP, but I would refer you to your GP for this. Now there's 2 things that I think could slightly elevate this. One of them is taking testosterone replacement therapy. So the dose may need adjusting, which we'll come on to that shortly. The other one can be fat around the liver, which can be related to diet, mainly diet. So tweaking all the things that we've just discussed is going to correct a lot of things that we've just been through across this whole report. And one of your other liver markers, bilirubin has come up again related to liver inflammation, similar causes that I've just discussed there, potentially. Testosterone was at 31.3, and there's also a lot of available testosterone, as you can see there, 93.99, that could be taken up but isn't being, because you've already kind of got it high enough. Now, has anyone ever told you what the downsides of having testosterone that's too high?
No.
It can convert to estrogen.
Where is the estrogen marker on there then?
So we don't test for estrogen in a general male panel. We can do further tests, but we don't look for it in this health check. But if, say for instance, testosterone intake is too high that you're getting externally, it can convert into estrogen, which then can give you some other side effects that you might not want. So I would suggest here that the dosage of testosterone needs to be reviewed with your doctor and your prescriber, and looking at those results there, they may also bring them liver markers if they are being caused by the testosterone back in range. So that is worth reviewing the dose.
So since I've done this blood test with you, I've sort of changed my testosterone. Would you stay on that for a while, or would you reduce that I'm on and then have another blood test?
I would essentially take this report to your doctor that prescribes it for you. Because this is great, because this is the whole reason we're doing it. Be responsible and review your data on how your body's responding. The responses are very individual, and then look to tweak the dose, and then we test again to review.
So if I took this, obviously, I can cut bits out and stuff, but like if I took this to my doctor that doesn't really know that I'm on CRT, my GP, what would he say to that? Because I'm sort of self-administrating.
So
I don't have to put this in there. I'm just like
I'll be honest, mate. Like the knowledge and awareness of testosterone.
That's why you did it yourself.
It's shocking.
In the first place, meant to be honest.
I've had athletes that have hypogonadism, as in the testicles are not producing testosterone at all. These are pro athletes. They've gone to see their NHS GP, and they're like, it's at 7. You're 7. There's no major issues. As in that person's not going to die. Well, no, maybe not. But
the quality of life.
Quality of life is just as important. As you mentioned there. And it's very hard that, because I'm in a position where I can't prescribe things, but I'm educated enough to know how much of a difference it can make to somebody's life, and yet these people are going, speaking to who they see as the professional, and they're not all, I'm not saying all doctors are the same, but a lot of the time it is the case where they're not getting the answers they need, and they're just being shooed off.
That's how I'll review that then, mate. I'll get on that.
Let me just check anything else that we've. Thyroid. So, looking at your thyroid there, buddy, we are looking that the dose of the levothyroxine is working properly. You're all in the green for your thyroid,
which is good.
And then the other two, they will never change. Those other two in red, they're the antibodies, which is the reason that you've got underactive thyroid. They will always remain high. But the ones that you would always want to review is thyroid stimulating hormone, and then T4 and T3, and then making sure that they're all in the green. So that they're all good there. And then on the left hand side, that is looking at your general levels of inflammation. They're fine, but we were looking at a microscopic level for those ones in the heart markers before, and then the rest of it are all immunity markers, which are all fine. So you're all in the green for them, which is good. And then we're also looking for strep, a type of infection in the blood, which you've not got. We're all good on that front. And I think prostate, really key one to look at. Your PSA level, especially when people are taking testosterone. It's important for two reasons. Men age 50 and above, you are now 50, and also people taking testosterone. We need to look at your prostate level. Now there is the level there is absolutely fine, but the blood test isn't perfect. There's issues with it, so you've also got to look out for physical symptoms as well. Changes in your urine flow. If it ever slows down or it ever becomes intermittent, you've always got to watch out for things like that. And then also, when you do get called for it, if you don't notice symptoms and then you're called for a routine manual check, which I know all men are too proud to often want to do, but they should do it, because then you've got both blood and manual marker checked.
Do that.
Yeah, so that should be nice.
So that prostate check is finger up the arse?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. A worthy evil.
Worthy evil, right.
And on the whole, buddy, looking at this as a summary, we want to essentially improve your body composition. That's gonna stand for a lot, but the main,
which is literally diet, mate, isn't it? When it comes down to what we talked about. Yeah.
Diet and training. I think you've got the training bit boxed off.
Yeah.
Haven't you?
Yeah.
But I think
what's the point in training if you're not eating that? Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's benefits in training alone, but if we can do the two together, that's where they're both are adding up to the largest effect and positive impact on your health. And that is an area where you're doing really, really well on the training front. Yeah. But from looking at all these other markers, we definitely need to work on that cholesterol, which is the main predictor, is diet. That will then, if we have a good 3 to 6 month punt at that, and review it, and then I know that you've said to me, I've smashed everything that we've gone through there, I've nailed it. Then if that's the case and we look at it and it's in range, brilliant. If it's not and it's not changed much, then we're going down the line that this could have more of a genetic influence than it would a lifestyle one. From what you're saying, I think we're more the former than the latter, but that is when you can start looking down the line of things like statins, when there's a real risk that can't be changed from lifestyle. I'm not, medication averse. Some people are straight to a no. But those things work. But I just think it's best to go look at lifestyle first. And food. We want to bring that average blood sugar down. As you can see there, you are in the green. That HbA1c in the corner there. But anything above 42, and we're looking at pre-diabetes. So that is creeping up, and we want to get that down. Don't worry about the creatinine. Liver markers, I do want you to go and see your doctor about those, just for a review, alongside reviewing the testosterone levels. That creatine kinase is just a muscle marker, because you've got a lot of muscle. We're not worried about that. Thyroid is all fine. That is all your nutrient levels. So vitamin D, B12, folic acid, iron, all those are fine. But iron, we did mention that you are lower on iron. Now the optimal level, as you can see, is 5.9 to 34.5. There's a wide range. Iron as a marker is actually very acute. What I mean by that is, if you've had red meat the day before, your iron levels can be quite normal the day after, because it's a very acute marker. It's looking at what is in the blood currently. But when we look at something called ferritin, which is your backup of iron, your backup stores, they are low with you, and so is your transferrin of how much iron binding capacity is occupied. So we need to get that ferritin up, which is your backup version of iron. So I'll go through that with you and how to fix it. Over to you, mate, with any questions.
No, mate, you've explained it perfect. I've got everything. Yeah. I know exactly what I need to do. My only question is that my sort of relationship with food is not the best, and just I would have come up with a plan for eating better, because I eat once a day at night, not for any other reason that I'm just lazy, and that just what works for me. I feel like I'm very insulin sensitive. The foods that I eat, I get like a boom like that, so I try not to eat through the day, because I'm so tired after food.
Okay, yeah.
But I just don't understand what I should be eating, when I should be eating, what's right, you get so much fucking information. I'm like,
So the reason that you're choosing to eat at that time, that one time, is more because of your own experience of noticing fluctuation in your energy levels, and they'll crash.
Yeah.
Okay. And what time of day would you notice that the most when you were eating?
Any time of day, even at night. I only eat at night because I know that I'm not doing it. I'll eat something and then I'll just be going to bed and like just sleep right through. My relationship with food is pants, mate. Like,
so why is that?
I don't know. One, I think maybe potentially I'm eating for the dopamine hit that it gets me sometimes. That after a long day, I'm like fucked. I'm going to eat something good, and then another one of just a lack of knowledge of, I don't know. Plus, mate, I'll be honest with you, I don't find food appealing. I'm like, it bores me.
Yeah.
Eating, I'm like, be arsed. I'd rather not eat.
Okay.
And I've got onto a thing where it's not fasting what I'm doing, it's fucking laziness. I call it fasting because I'm cool. I tell people I'm fasting. Sounds cool, doesn't it? I'm like, fuck no. It's because I'm lazy as fuck.
So it's more that than anything else. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I'd do then is if you're not averse to changing that,
100%, mate.
and I was to say actually that might be more the food choice than it is the fact that you're guaranteed to crash because you're eating at 12 o'clock. I don't think that's the case. I think that we can change some of those foods, and also the amount, because a lot of people get these issues when they're eating a lot of calories at a certain window, which obviously there's a lot of food then going in the stomach, drives all the blood flow to the stomach and away from the brain, and then we become less performance minded because it's all gone here to manage the digestion, and that's when we get that sleepiness. So that is more common than you might think. They call that postprandial somnolence in the science world. It's when your blood diverts to the stomach and away from the brain. Often common after Christmas dinner or Sunday roast as well. So we can tweak some of that, and also develop some solid food habits and understanding around food. Not everybody's into food. Not everybody finds that exciting. That's cool, but it is needed for survival. So we can find some ways that fit within your convenience, but still tick the boxes for the goals. Because I think you might not buy into the interest of all fancy food and all that, but do you buy into the health benefits?
I'm buying into life, mate. I'm up for living. So I'm on that, and then these markers I've flipped it in my mind that I need to sort it out.
And we can navigate it through that way.
And
being that as the motivation.
Which I've never really done that before, to be honest. And so talking through this, I mean, no matter how many times you get these results you put in ChatGPT, mate, the way you described it, so we change that in my head. And I'm up for this. I just you just tell me what I need to do, so I'll do it, mate, basically.
So what I'll do now is I will put you together a very convenient kind of nutrition guidelines that fit within your kind of time budget, how much time you want to put into this. We're not going to have loads of fancy cooked 3-hour-long meals or anything like that. It's going to be quick to the point, but it's going to hit all them goals. It's going to change all this blood work to where we need it to be, but also keeps your working performance and why you need your energy levels to be peak and tip top, where they need to be. And then we'll review these bloods again when that window needs to be reviewed.
What is your thoughts on prep meals and stuff from getting a prep company to do the meals for me? Because I'm like, I don't want to make anything, I'm going to be honest with you, Sam. It just bores the idea of putting food together. I'm like, what a waste of time. I don't know, mate. I need to fucking attach it to that.
I totally agree, and the quicker I could have more honest conversations like this, the better. You'd be amazed that sometimes people say what they think you want to hear. I prefer this. I'm just straight talking. You can't do it all. You run your own business. Some things need to be outsourced so you can spend time on what you love and what you're good at. I have no issue whatsoever with meal prep companies. There's a lot of them out there doing an amazing job. It makes your life easier, and it can really help us make sure that these goals get ticked, and it makes it a much more realistic proposition for it to happen. So convenience does not equal poor health anymore.
Right.
Once upon a time, maybe.
Yeah.
But they can be convenience and healthy can be used in the same sentence.
Right. Right. Sweet. Yeah, I'm excited about that. I think the idea of maybe finding a prep food company that's got recyclable card stuff as well, where I don't need to. Where I don't need to wash as well. You know what I mean, or rinse them out. That's what I probably need to do. I think.
Amazing.
Right, so
because we will still either way, if it's good, it's realistic and it's going to work for you.
Yeah.
It's the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
We're going to do it then, aren't we?
Yeah.
And that's the key bit.
That is the key.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because you put so many hurdles in front of you to get there.
Yeah.
You know, some people can sometimes leave a clinic when I have a chat with them, and it'll give them an initial kick up the arse because they realise that there's risks increased of certain things, and then that'll last a little while.
Yeah.
You know, because they get that moment where it shits them up effectively, and then they get that kick up the arse, and then they just return back to normal again. But if we have something that can actually change their habits, we can make a real long-term difference. So yeah, that I think that's the plan.
Appreciate it, mate. Yeah, perfect, Sam. Love it, mate. Love it.
Glad we did them bloods, even on a just on a level that you've not seen these for God knows how long. Some of these you've never even had tested because they only do basic routine stuff when you go for a normal health check.
There's a lot of markers there, isn't there?
There's a lot that can be improved there.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the nutritional health, magnesium, I thought that'd be a lot worse than it was, to be honest. I do take vitamin D as a supplement, but I'm quite happy that, you know, calcium and stuff like that as well, to be honest. But God knows.
Yeah, I didn't want to just kind of, obviously seeing these bloods, if they're all going to be in the green, then great. But I didn't want to just do this health check and then say to you, right, there you go. I will help you now. Get them back in range. So we can actually, you know, review it and see that it's all gone back to normal.
So what we'll do now is Sam will give me that. I'm going to sort of end the video here and then we'll do a second part so when Sam comes it through, maybe 3-6 months down the line. But Sam, just tell everybody where they can find you. I think we've done this already, but tell everybody where they can find you if you want this health check.
So yeah, if this is something that you're interested in or even just want to talk to us about, just visit us at sciencetohealth.com or Science to Health UK on Instagram. Thank you.
Thank you. See you later.